but me. Say everybody. Okay.
KCMO, born and raised if you ain't get the memo. Slipping in my city is a NO. We put down the demo.
Hey you guys, it's me, Bossy, and today I am here with a story time video. Okay, so this story time I planned on doing a long time ago, but I could just never, I don't know. I just felt like, do I really want to tell people this story? But I'm gonna go ahead and tell it, and tell you how everything started. So yeah, and I wanted to make sure Terrence was okay with me telling this story. Terrence is my boyfriend, so he said he was fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell the story. Okay, so as a lot of you guys know, I am a mother of 5. I have 3 girls from a previous relationship and 2 boys with my current love of my life. And basically, we didn't want any more kids. He was fine with the 2 that he had, and he, you know, treats my daughters like they're his own. And he said he just didn't really care if we didn't have any more kids. So in 2014, when I had my youngest son, Talik, that was gonna be it. It seemed to be getting harder each time I had a child. My 4th child, which was my first son, he was 10 pounds, and I had to have my first C-section. And then just because after that, with my 5th child, my youngest baby boy, I had to have a C-section. And so the doctor basically asked me, am I done? And I told her, yes, I am done. I do not want any more kids. I made sure I talked to Terrence. He was basically okay with the fact that we wouldn't have any more kids. So after they went ahead and cut me open and pulled my 8-pound baby boy out, the last one, they went ahead and I got my tubes tied. I had a tubal ligation. And what I was told that I had done, my tubes were going to be clamped, burnt, and I think they were tied, but I'm not all the way sure. But I know for sure they were clamped and they were burnt. So that happened. You know, we was good to go. You know, go home with baby. You know, everything's good. Anytime I would have a baby, or anytime you have a baby, you're supposed to go to your 6-week checkup just to make sure everything's okay, make sure, you know, you're feeling okay and everything is looking right. So I did it with my 3 daughters. I did it with TJ. With Talik, I did not go to my 6-week checkup. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you why. I had my 6-week appointment set up and everything like that, and something came up and I missed it. So I was supposed to reschedule it. And this was the first time that my tubes were tied. So you know, my incision healed fine. My bleeding had stopped almost completely. And, you know, I was feeling good. I didn't have like baby blues or postpartum depression or anything like that. So I had missed that appointment and I had forgot to reschedule it. You know, once my healing process was up, because after I didn't know I was pregnant situation with my 3rd daughter, I made sure I waited the whole 6 weeks. And you know, Terrence and I, we don't have protected sex because, you know, we're a couple. And especially since my tubes were tied, and I know people gonna say, girl, that don't mean nothing, da 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 da. Yes, I know. But especially since my tubes were tied, we didn't have to really worry about, oh, am I gonna get pregnant? Because with my son Talik, I ended up getting pregnant due to my IUD that I had, Mirena or whatever you call it. It fell out, and that's how I got pregnant with him. Basically, we didn't want to have another kid after my first son. We didn't do the tube tie-in then because we thought, well, maybe down the line we might. So that is something that after 5 years can, you know, be reversed. But that didn't last. I ended up getting pregnant with my son Talik. That's a whole nother story. So this was about 2015. My period didn't come. And so I was, you know, my period messed up once before, after Terrence and I had came from Mexico. We had went to Mexico, and my period was like off for like 5 days or so. But I was told, you know, from other people, it was due to, you know, jet lag and the climate change, and just because, you know, I had been traveling for so long and it was in a different environment and everything like that. But eventually came. So I was thinking, all right, I ain't been traveling, but why isn't my period came? But I didn't think I was pregnant, just because I was like, I've been good for so long since I've had him. You know, my tubes are tied, and she did 2 or 3 methods to prevent me from having another baby. So I thought I was all the way in the clear. So then I was like, well, dang, am I stressed? And I was thinking, was I stressed at around that time? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I was just like, I don't know. Something didn't seem right. I had been telling Terrence, you know, I ain't had my period, babe. I don't know. He was like, oh, you good, you good. Because we're both thinking I'm okay. I'm going to let you in on another thing, too, a little later in the story. I didn't think it would happen to me, but I'm going to let y'all know. So, you know, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, we should be good. He wasn't worried, but I was kind of worried, but not really. But anyway, I was just telling him I'm going to buy a test. So I went and bought a test. And I got the test. I didn't even take it the day I got it. So the next day, I went ahead and took the test. Terrence had just got home from work, and I went up in the restroom and I took the test. And I set the test on the sink, and I didn't even wait that long, but I just sat there on the toilet and just waited. And I don't know why I was nervous. My heart was beating fast. And when I picked the test up, it said positive. So then my chest got tight, my heart sank. I just got this feeling like I got hot all over. I just got this feeling like, how is this possible? So I ran downstairs, you know, cleaned myself up. Ran downstairs, and I showed Terrence the test. He just looked at me and he was like, man, nah, you can't be pregnant. Your tubes are tied. I'm like, baby, it says positive. He was like, man, something wrong with that test. And then I'm like, no, the test is positive. So I told him, you know what, I'm gonna just wait for a little while and I'm gonna take the second test. So, you know, I drank some water, laid around for a little bit, and then later that night I took the second test, and again it said positive. And these weren't the ones that said pregnant. It was just the ones that had the plus sign and the other line. So I told him, but I don't think he really kind of believed it. But then I think he started thinking like, damn, she might really be pregnant. So the next day I went and got the test that says pregnant or not pregnant. Next day I got it, got off work, took the test, and it said, boom, pregnant. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of devastated because we did not want any more children. My mindset was like, you know, I don't want any more children. He was fine with not having any more children. I'm not even going to lie. I was just thinking like, why does this happen to me? Is it because I'm not married? And then I'm thinking like, even if I was married, like, I've been pregnant a lot of times. So I'm just like, why? How am I pregnant again? This would be baby number 6. Like, how am I pregnant again? And you guys, I did a vlog just for those that watch my vlog channel. I did a vlog about a year or so ago saying, could I be pregnant with number 6? That's when I had just came from Mexico and my period was off. So that, if y'all go and watch my vlog channel, that was a whole nother situation. My period was just thrown off. It was out of whack, but I was not pregnant. So if you guys have seen that, that was just something else. This happened after that. So you know, for about 2 weeks I contemplated on what I was gonna do. I hadn't made no doctor's appointment. I just was like, oh my God. I just really was just like, yes, I know we're having sex unprotected. And yes, I know no birth control is 100%. But I just knew. And it had been just almost like a year and almost a half that I had been good, no problems. And I'm thinking my tubes are tied, so I should not be getting pregnant. So finally, after I came to the realization that it's really a baby in my stomach, and then at the same time, I was very paranoid because I thought that maybe the baby could have been in my tubes because I was pregnant. And a lot of times if you do have your tubes tied, you can eventually have a tubal pregnancy where the actual baby is growing in your tubes, and if it grows large enough, then it can burst. You can get harmed from that, very much so. It can cause infertility. I've even heard death in cases, which I think that's the worst case scenario. But you know, you can lose a tube. I'm telling Terrence, I'm paranoid. Like, I'm pregnant and my tubes are tied. I shouldn't be pregnant. My tubes are tied. I said, what if I'm pregnant in my tubes right now? Like, I could die at any moment. Like, I was so scared, y'all. I was paranoid. I kept having pains in my stomach, which I always had pains anytime I was pregnant. But I was thinking because my tubes were tied that at any second, maybe the baby could have been in my tubes and it was going to explode. I didn't know, y'all. I was thinking all kind of crazy stuff. So finally, I make a doctor's appointment with my OBGYN. And you know, I called and told them that I need to come in just to make sure that I'm pregnant. And when I called, I remember the nurse was like, Basima, didn't you get your tubes tied? And I was like, yeah, basically. But I think I'm pregnant because the test said I'm pregnant. So now I need a blood test or I need something done, because I said, these tests said I'm pregnant. I said, I've taken 4 tests and they all said I was pregnant. And so they actually got me in quick because of the fact that they knew my tubes were tied. And I think I might have got in, after I made my appointment, I might have got in the next day or even the day after, if I'm not mistaken. Terrence and I go to my doctor's appointment. I get there, you know, I go to the back, pee in a cup, come back out, wait for them to call me back. And then finally, they called me back and my doctor just looked at me and was just like, again? Like, so she was kind of, looked like she was kind of concerned, but at the same time she was kind of trying to like be funny and kind of like play it off and not seem too alarmed, but at the same time she was just like trying to be humorous about the situation, because you know, I came there when I got pregnant with TJ. I came there when I got pregnant with Talik after she had implanted my Mirena, and then I'm coming again. So get there and I get on the table and they do my blood pressure and all that. Then I lay down, and because I told her the last time I remember having my period, she was like, well, we might be able to hear the heartbeat, but we might not. We went ahead and did a vaginal ultrasound. So we did a vaginal ultrasound. There was a little sac where baby would be. Right away, we knew I wasn't pregnant in my tubes. It was right there where it should be. Each time I'm pregnant, it was right where it should be. And so she was doing the vaginal ultrasound. So then she was basically like, she's not really seeing a heartbeat. She said it could be because I'm still a little early, because I don't even think I was 6 weeks yet. No, I wasn't. And so she was gonna have me come back. So about a week or so, yeah, I kind of blocked a lot of this out. I go back, or was it 2 weeks? You know, I go home or whatever, and she had me make an appointment for another 2 weeks. So I noticed I was having more pain than normal with my other pregnancies, and you know, I was not trying to be too worried, but like, it's getting close to the appointment time, and lo and behold, I knew something was kind of wrong, but I end up beginning to have a miscarriage, and there was a lot of blood, there was a lot of clumps. I didn't want to look at tissue. I went to the, you know, the hospital or whatever, and I got cleaned out the rest with, you know, a DNC. You know, it was a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I don't know if because my tubes were tied, if that's why the pregnancy did not work, or I don't know, y'all. So yeah, basically there was no more baby, and this is all the while that I was recording YouTube. I would have actually, my baby would have turned 1 year old this month in March. That's why I decided to do the story finally. Our baby would actually be 1 year old if I had the baby and everything would have went okay. So I would have had a 1 year old boy or 1 year old girl right now. And me and Terrence don't even talk about it a lot. Only a few people knew. A lady at my job, my closest cousin, Marniki Shell, and I think somebody, oh, Terrence's best friend knew. And I think maybe somebody else knew. I can't remember, y'all. But, you know, I didn't have the baby. So, of course, after everything was done and I went to the doctors and, you know, got checked out, and they did they checked everything to make sure I would not get pregnant again. Even though there's still that 1% chance, you know, they did the little check-in and did a little color dye test or whatever. They still are not sure what happened. Yeah, it's 99.9%, but I'm still, my tubes are still intact, how they should be. So, even though I was told that, I was very, very paranoid. I was very, very scared to have sex because I feel like I'm fertile myrtle. Like, I just get pregnant so easily. I got pregnant with the Moreno, or it fell out anyway, whatever. Then this happened with my tubes being tied. So I was paranoid, very much so. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of paranoid a little bit sometimes, but I just try to put it in the back of my mind and don't even think about it. I just think to myself, Basima, you will not get pregnant. You will not get pregnant. Your tubes are tied. You will not get pregnant. You will not get pregnant. And, you know, anytime my period is a little off a couple of days, you know, I start to kind of spaz out. But then it comes and then I'm okay. But yeah, I do get like that. And I know there's some people, you know, you need to use a condom. You need to, yes, we do certain things to try to prevent. I try not to do stuff around ovulation. I try to do a lot of things. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, I know what I should and should not do. But this is my life and the choices that I make.
Only on your mind when you waste that. Tell me what you